What is it I smell? I think it's Christmas is in the air. The Amateur tells it all. The traffic in Lagos and everywhere in Nigeria says it all. The lights at public spaces as well says it all. Welcome. This is HotSports, and we are counting down to the end of the year. We are also counting down to the Yuletide season, and we want to thank you very much for being with us from the get-go, from January 2019 up until now. What a great feeling. My name is Babajide Guerrero. I've got an interesting cast for today's production. We'll be right back after this to get to know who and what it is we'll be talking about on HotSports this beautiful Saturday morning. We'll be right back. And we are back. One of the goals and wins for us in 2019 was the fact that we did the HotSpot TV search, and for us to allow some young and vibrant Nigerian sports analysts to come through the fold. Well, some of these guys have been here and they've been doing quite well for themselves. So step forward at this time, Fisayo, Kizuri. I wanted to call Kizuri and Fisayo. Everything was happening in my head at the same time. But Fisayo, how are you, man?
I'm doing very great, and it's a pleasure to be back on the show.
Oh, yeah, always a pleasure. And how is your dad, by the way? Happy birthday in arrears to him, belated birthday wishes to him.
Yes.
His dad is actually a huge Liverpool fan, over 80 years old now. Yeah?
Yes.
Yeah, so Pa
Odushola.
Pa Odushola, yeah, God bless you and thank you very much for always being a huge supporter of sports. This next guest as well is a huge supporter of a club that nobody really knows and cares about lately, but he cares, and he's been doing quite well for himself in different platforms, especially on Twitter. This time, our guest, Cerebron, that's what he's popularly known as, but his name is Clinton McDubos. How are you, my man?
I'm fine, I'm fine.
It's good to see you, man.
Same here.
I mean, it's good to see your tweets, tons of them, about your love for Valencia and the game of football, but it's good to also see you in the studio. How are you feeling?
Feeling great.
I mean, when we walked into the studio, you were like, you watched all sport as a sport. Are you kind of nostalgic?
Yeah, actually, I never thought that someday I would be on the show.
Yeah.
Because I used to watch it when I was like really young, and I mean, it's just a great feeling.
Absolutely, it is. It is. I mean, this is the longest running independent sports show on Nigerian television, and I myself honored to be the presenter of this great show. Of also, just like this man in the studio, were once viewers at home. Yeah, for the viewers, what we have for you is a potpourri of football conversation and sports. Step forward first is a conversation with the Minister for Sports, Sunday Dare, who says we need to sanitize Nigerian football. Sarah, let me start with you. This is a man who, from the get-go, he almost seemed to be one of those guys who wants to do the job and knows what he's doing. And now he's saying, when you think of NFF, what you think of is corruption.
Yeah, actually, I think he's absolutely spot on. In this part of the world, we do not like to hear the truth sometimes. I mean, of course, sometimes people say the truth is harsh. Yeah. It's too harsh.
But it is the truth.
But it's the truth. Yeah. I mean, the truth is the truth, and sometimes the truth has to be said harshly. And I think he's absolutely spot on. Nigerian football has a very bad reputation, everywhere, and it's something that something needs to be done about it, really. Because it can't continue like this.
Absolutely.
There's a lot that is wrong with our sport in this country, and I think he's absolutely spot on.
Yeah, well said, Minister. But we hope and pray that it's not just football alone. Just like Cerebron said, it's the sports generally. There's a lot of problem with our sports. And speaking of problems, the embattled president of the AFN, Shehu Ibrahim Gusso, refused or rather failed to appear in front of the AFN fact-finding committee on Wednesday during the week. The Nigerian Para-Powerlifting Federation organized a trial for 125 senior athletes ahead of the 2020 Para-Powerlifting World Cup slated to take place in Abuja. Remember that we also confirmed earlier that the First Lady of Nigeria was part of a particular parlay, that was done during the course of last couple of months, just to make sure that this particular event came to full fruition. Well, according to the NPPF, the Powerlifting World Cup is also an African qualifier for the 2020 Paralympic Games in Tokyo, Japan, the same venue for the Olympics that the Minister for Sport have said Nigeria needs 14 billion naira to prepare for. Why are you people laughing? You people will say something serious. Why? Okay, so let me start with you. You're the one that first busted, then your laughter made Cerebrum laugh. But let me start with you. Why? 14 billion naira. That's small money.
Small money.
Yeah, very small money.
Okay, if the money is going to be spent prudently and on what they are going to use it for, then I don't think it should be a problem.
Well, let's switch your attention to basketball now, with the NBBF National Men's Division 1 League was set to start For January 20, we're excited. Some fixtures you should look forward to is in the Atlantic Conference. We can confirm that Air Force Warriors in Lagos will battle OS Lions in Osogbo. T Joba from Akwa Ibom will battle Comet. Of course, Comet are a household name in a lot of basketball fairs in Nigeria. In the Savannah Conference, we can also confirm that Upper Flames from Otukpo will take care of business against Dashon Mambas in Abuja. Kano Pyramids will also play Zamfara Shooters. Just in case you are anywhere close to where the games is being played, please do well to go celebrate basketball in Nigeria. Well, celebration of teams that fell through at the group stages was what we saw at the UEFA Champions League draws. We've separated the boys from the men, and going forward we can confirm that the round of 16 is all done and dusted. But gentlemen, we saw the draws, some particular very from a personal angle. I don't know why you're laughing, but from a personal angle, I can tell you guys that this is the first time I see a draw that is in a way evenly balanced. In a way it is balanced, in a way it is not the usual repetition of seeing Barcelona play Chelsea early on, see this versus this. It's muscle for muscle, player for player, pound for pound, very good fixtures. I don't know, that's my opinion. But let me start with you, Fisai.
This is actually the first time teams from the top 5 leagues, the major leagues, the top 5 major leagues, they are actually in the round of 16. They are well represented, from Valencias to the Lyons, and
he's
a Valencia fan.
Yeah, you have to smile.
From Valencia to Lyon and everything. So it's very balanced. I think my tie of the round should be Man City, Real Madrid. Okay, I'm looking forward to it.
Okay, so what stands out for you, Sarah? Which of the fixtures stands out for you?
Well, Atletico versus Liverpool. And my reason is simple. I consider Liverpool the best cup team in Europe. And I think they've been the best cup team since they, lost to Real Madrid. Okay. After that, that game, that final. The thing is, a Simeone team is probably the only kind of team that can take Liverpool over 2 legs at this current time. Because you know how Simeone is. Simeone can go to an away leg. I mean, he went to Bayern with a 1-0 advantage and qualified. He went to Chelsea after playing 0-0, a Mourinho Chelsea, and he came out alive. So I feel like if there's anybody that can do it, it's Simeone. But at the same time, Liverpool are just a juggernaut. They're just unplayable, at times. And it's going to be a very interesting tie because both managers are also managers that like to adapt to the opponent. They're very good at adapting to the opponent and just finding their weak points. So I think that's what will make it interesting. I'm looking forward to the tactical battles and hopefully to be a great tie.
Yeah, we're looking forward to that. Meanwhile, Tottenham would also look forward to taking on RB Leipzig, who really aren't doing badly at all, with Timo Werner doing what Timo Werner does. Atletico Madrid, like Sarah said, will be playing Liverpool. And Real Madrid, like Fisaya said, will be playing Manchester City. And Chelsea will be playing Bayern Munich. And a lot of people have already written away Chelsea in any way you want to look at. But maybe a surprise in the offense.
I don't see anything that is going to happen like a surprise in that match because Bayern Munich, they are miles ahead of Chelsea and they have a certain Lewandowski that has scored 30 goals in 2019, which is very ridiculous. Already? A ridiculous number. So, and Chelsea, their lack of experience might just play against them, against Bayern Munich.
So we're looking forward to February, and that's when the second leg and the first legs of this particular round of 16 campaigns would start. February 18, 19, and then 25 and 26. And still, the welterweight champion, of course, those were the words of the ring announcer when a Nigerian-born UFC fighter, Kamaru Usman. Are you a fan of combat sports?
Well,
do you know, I have a friend.
I follow it, from afar.
From afar, okay.
Yeah,
but you just okay.
The Nigerians are.
The Nigerians, exactly. I mean, it's been a good, fair enough, good year for Nigerians.
It's been very good from Israel Adesanya to Anthony Joshua, then Kamaru Usman. Yeah. The fight with Covington was actually one of bad blood, because Covington said plenty stuffs about Usman, which he attacked him personally, attacked his family and all that, and Usman really did the number on Covington. He broke his jaw in round 4.
Absolutely. I mean, that's that's the proverbial shut your mouth.
Yeah, I saw the heat.
Yeah, he actually moved his jaw to places. It was a job done on a jab.
Someone said on Twitter that why would you go and fight someone named Kamaru?
Kamaru. I saw that too, and I'm like, how would you fight someone named Kamaru?
That's a combat name.
It is indeed. Yeah, so big ups to him. Big ups to all the Nigerians hoisting the flag quite well. We should also remember that we also need to develop some of these sports, that could be doing well, especially as the Olympics coming through. The boxing is nothing to write home about. I'm not even expecting any medal. But big ups to Kamaru Usman. At the same time, big ups to all Nigerians doing well in those parts of the world. But unfortunately, this particular next story brings a lot of sadness because it looks a bit that the Serie A happened to be the headquarters of racism lately. And then you now say you want to do anti-racism campaign, and then you picked something that is absolutely racial as the face. Well, the issue of the Serie A campaign against racism, we saw an artwork, an imagery that had monkeys used as for the campaign. What was it? Who did that thing? What was the ideology? What was the person thinking?
It was a Chinese artist that was behind it, and I think it was very insensitive.
What was he trying to do?
You can't be battling fire with fire. You're trying to battle racism, and you are duplicating your design with a monkey, which is absolutely disgusting. The Serie A, they are not ready to deal with the issue of racism. If they're actually serious, they won't do something like that.
Well, I think that Serie A are just tone deaf. They are completely tone deaf. It's like they don't understand what racism is. They don't understand the implications of the things that they do and they approve. I mean, the measures they take to combat racism, they're just so insufficient. And so it's like they are not even trying at all. Absolutely. And in the end, you see, I mean, it's all around. It's all over the league. From the club presidents making strange statements. Like Balotelli's club president was saying something really strange about, his reaction to racist abuse. We've seen, all sorts of things.
To players as well. Bonucci's situation with Moise Kean. And the Gazelle Sports as well, their publication Black Friday. So the whole league stinks and they are not ready.
Yeah, I think I agree. I agree with that, really. So we continue the conversation now, and guys, it's about football management. It's confirmed Ancelotti has left Napoli. We're hearing it's possible that maybe he may be joining Everton, but as well as Arteta. What do you guys think about these two lots, anyways, Arteta and Ancelotti? Start with you.
Personally, I'm a big fan of Arteta because he has been rated by Wenger, and Pep rates him very highly. Like when Wenger left Arsenal, they tried to get Arteta, and Pep refused blatantly, like his number 2 wasn't going anywhere. So for two of the greatest coaches of all time to pass a vote of confidence on someone, that means there's something particular about him. So I think Arteta joining us now should be something very positive.
But before I have an opinion on him, I have to first see his first few games to know what he's about, because I like to give managers the benefit of the doubt. I don't agree with people writing him off already and saying it's going to be a disaster. And of course, it's okay to be optimistic and hopeful because of the kind of managers that he's worked with. Now, in terms of Arsenal going for him, I think that it shows that they are not really panicking at this point, because it's very easy to get carried away. You hear about Ancelotti going to Everton and all of that, and it's very easy to get carried away and think, oh, these guys are hiring,
big boys.
Big boys. Why are we going for a rookie? Let's go for someone big. But they're not doing that. So it shows that perhaps they've learned from the way they hired Emery earlier, and they probably want to think of it in terms of a project and a long-term project, because it also feels like, okay, they are prepared for anything that will happen this season. Because in the end, it's about next season. This season, maybe they've written it off a bit. They are ready to take that risk and say, okay, maybe we don't make Champions League this season, but next season we're going to build towards that. So Arteta will have enough time. So I think it's a good move.
Pretty much so.
And his appointment might also have a galvanizing effect on the team, because he was former captain. He has been around the environment of the club. He knows the workings of the club and stuff. So it should be a good deal.
All right, so Liverpool will miss the EPL this weekend, and not because there's a disaster anywhere. No, it's because they had to take part at the Club World Cup Championship, and then they are in the finals. You impressed?
Yeah, they struggled against Monterrey. They needed the last-minute Firmino goal to get through to the final. And in the final, they'll be facing Flamengo in a few hours from now.
And remember, you can follow this conversation on, of course, this production as well on at HotSports NG. All you need to do is just to go to the social media platforms right there on your screen, and you hear the sound. Yeah, you will subscribe, and we'd like to have you join this huge family. We'll go for a quick break, and when we return, it's time to talk about the biggest deal on our burner. We did witness a Liverpool side fielded a very young squad. And what we're asking today is, was that disrespectful to the Carabao Cup, or it was needed for them to pay attention to the Club World Cup? Or is it just to show that Liverpool's team is really, really thin? All this and more, you'll find out in the next couple of seconds. And remember, to join this conversation, all you need to do is just to take out your phone, send us a text, let us know what exactly is on your mind, and then we'll also take your messages, as well as go to our YouTube page to comment in our comment section. We'll be right back after this for what is going to be a juicy debate. We'll be right back.
Carabao Cup, Carling Cup, League Cup. They've kept changing the name of the competition, which shows how unimportant it is. So Liverpool ditching the competition and going for the World Club Cup is actually something I support very well, and there shouldn't be an uproar about it.
Liverpool are a professional football club, and part of professionalism is putting your best foot forward and always being competitive, no matter the circumstances. I think that they have disrespected the cup by completely disregarding it and just putting out kids and losing like that. I think the fans deserve better. I think the competition deserved better. Even if it was a second-rate competition, it was still a competition that deserved respect.
Liverpool, for the historic club, they are a very successful club. They have never won the World Club Championship. The last time they won the UCL was in 2005, and they failed to win that competition then. So them ditching the Carabao Cup to try and make more history going to the World Club Championship is very understandable, because the great Alex Ferguson even did something very similar in 2000 when the first World Club Championship that was held in Brazil, he ditched the FA Cup, which is more glorified than the Carabao Cup, the oldest club competition in the world. Alex Ferguson ditched it totally. At least clubs still fielded a youth team and they got exposure. For instance, look at Elliott, the 16-year-old. He got rave reviews even though they lost 5 goals to nil. You said,
was he not on the bench for the next game? The next day.
Who was on the bench?
Elliott. Elliott was on the bench for Monterrey game.
For the Monterrey game, yes, he traveled.
Exactly.
But it's for the first, they were capable of doing that. They wouldn't have been able to play 2 games back to back in 2 days. You are saying they should have split. They should.
Yes, actually, yes. I'm saying they should have split the
team into 2.
Yes,
which is not possible. But the Liverpool side is very streamlined. They're even battling injuries right now.
So whose fault is that?
It's the manager's fault, but you can't tell. He's not a doctor, so he can't actually know they are going to have injuries. Now, Wijnaldum is injured, Fabinho is injured. If he had fielded a very strong side against a competent side against Aston Villa, their injury worries might have tripled.
He didn't need to field a fully strong side against Aston Villa. He just needed to field at least 2, 3, 4 experienced players. We saw the game against Arsenal, where he fielded a lot of youngsters. But in that game, we saw Origi, who was very influential.
Did they have an important game
They didn't,
before
but
that
then
game?
Why didn't he field his
Did they have an important
I remember that day.
Did they have an important game before that?
Okay, now that is a very interesting observation. They didn't have an important game.
Yes.
Right?
In 24 hours. In 24 hours.
But guess what happened in that game?
Is Elliott a crucial player to Liverpool?
Guess what happened? Can I tell you what happened?
Is Elliott a crucial player to Liverpool?
He's not. But guess what?
So he could have afforded to play both games, and he's still young. He's just 16 years old.
But guess what? I want to point something out.
Okay.
There was no game the next day, right?
Yes.
Yet, Klopp did everything he could to exit that competition that day. I remember tweeting at that time that Klopp really doesn't want this.
That is why I'm saying.
That is why I'm saying. Even last year they didn't have a game the next day. They didn't have a game 24 hours later. It's just Klopp not.
The competition as a whole, as a whole should be scrapped. Even Arsene Wenger disrespected this competition back in the day.
But Arsene Wenger got to the final.
When it was the League Cup, he disrespected this competition back in the day.
Let me understand this. So it's not a Liverpool thing. He's not making the Liverpool thing. He's making it a competition thing. So do you think that competition is? Let me start with you. Do you think is unworthy to be of participation? The Carabao Cup.
As far as the competition has been established, it has. It's just the way people disregard the Community Shield.
Okay. Yeah.
They say it's just a glorified friendly.
But guess what
happens? Guess what happens? When you win the Community Shield, you celebrate. Alex Ferguson won the League Cup and celebrated. Sure. They celebrated, they popped champagne and all of that. Yeah. Why did he do that if it was unimportant?
Okay, you are saying if a competition has been established, like it should stay like that. Back in the day, we used to have a competition called the Intertoto Cup and the UEFA Cup Winners' Cup, which was later merged. Is now the Europa League.
Why was it done?
Why can't the English FA merge the Carabao Cup with the FA Cup and make it just a single
both
competition?
Competitions serve two different
purposes.
So then FA Cup is for everybody.
If you win the Carabao Cup, you are going to
teams within the league system.
It's not if you win the Carabao Cup, you are going to qualify for the Champions League.
So hold on, you just explained something. The FA Cup is for what? So that, just to educate our
all the teams in England.
Yes, even community sides and
all those kind of sides. But the League Cup is just for the teams in the league system.
So that's different purpose.
So different purpose.
It serves different purpose, but the end game for both competitions is to qualify for the UEFA Cup. Yes or no?
For what?
The end game for both competitions. Right now, yes, if you win the Carabao Cup, it's not as if you are getting into the Champions League. What is the KPI for Liverpool is to make the Champions League. So why should they see the Carabao Cup as something
last season,
very important?
we said that Manchester City won a domestic treble.
And
it's history. They've created history by winning domestic treble.
Jurgen Klopp didn't commit any heresy.
It shows that it's not really about Klopp. The criticism is about just respecting. It's not a personal thing. Because Wenger has been accused. I remember Pellegrini went to Chelsea. Pellegrini went to Chelsea with a half-assed
that is why they shouldn't be
and he lost 5-1 and he was completely finished in the media.
Be making a fuss out of it.
And that's, I mean, they have 24 hours.
They shouldn't be making a fuss out of
what it. What I'm telling you is that
disrespected the competition.
What I'm telling you is
that no disrespect is because all the great managers they don't rate the Carabao Cup.
But they all celebrate the Carabao Cup when they win it.
What do they? Do they celebrate?
Obviously, when you win something, won't you celebrate?
Why did you participate?
If you buy a B2 car, won't you celebrate it?
I won't buy a B2 car.
I'm just saying, is an example.
The excuse for Klopp is that he had a game 24 hours after. But the thing is, this is not the first time that Klopp has disrespected the cup and played, a lot of youngsters that, are not supposed to be playing such games. It happened last year. It happened the year before. Every time Liverpool exits the competition after fielding a less than impressive squad. So obviously, the criticism or the excuse for Klopp is not viable. Other managers have also been criticized for this, and it will continue to happen because every competition has to be treated with respect.
Klopp is not the first manager that would disrespect this competition. The likes of Arsene Wenger, Pellegrini, Pep Guardiola, even Jose Mourinho, they've disrespected this competition so much. So I don't know why they are making a fuss out of it that Liverpool fielded the youth side and all. The thing is, I think they should just scrap the competition because it's basically worthless.
The strength of your team is your team. Like I tweeted, no disrespect, Aston Villa didn't defeat Wiki Torres 5-0. They didn't defeat Enyimba. They defeated Liverpool. So, however, it is on the 20, on the 21. The bottom line is Liverpool. And, but I kind of swing to Fisayo's angle again, who says it's a bit worthless. At the end of the day, the end game is the same. But all this and more are our own thoughts. What are your thoughts? We want to hear from you. Let us know what exactly is on your mind as regards this particular issue. All right, so guys, so please do listen to the world's best choir, made up of the star singers, myself, and these rookie singers. All right, so 1, 2, ready, go. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. All right. So yes, no, sing that one. Let's just leave it there. All right, guys. So yeah, Merry Christmas to you and yours. We wish and pray that all your aspirations come alive. We want to say thank you to you, Kizuri. Thank you very much for coming on the show.
It's always a pleasure, and happy holidays, everybody.
Yeah, to the man who made his debut today, and he really made a huge impression. More like when Rooney at his very first time. I always
score my debut. So.
Yeah, he scored a lot of goals on his debut. So thank you so very much, Cerebron.
Thank you.
So guys, we will do this again next week, Saturday. It will be one more week to go to the end of the new year. Remember, all your dreams are valid, all your aspirations are still intact. God bless you. Look after yourself and take care of each other. My name is Babajide Guerrero. Please remember, do not drink and drive. If you will drive, do not drink. If you will drink, do not drive. We'll see you again next week, Saturday. Bye for now.